G'day folks, I'm going to show you how I made my ramp skates. They're just a Vans Skate High sneaker on a Shore Grip Avanti plate with the Chicks and Bowls grind trucks, Chicks and Bowls sliders, and these are Corey wheels, 101s, nice and hard for a good roll. I'll show you how we made them. Okay, here's what you're going to need. Some sneakers, some plates, some trucks, some aluminium plate to reinforce the sole. I've got the Chicks and Bowls grind trucks and the Chicks and Bowls sliders so as I can do a few more tricks. So just pull all the laces out so as you can get at the sole. You're going to need to rip the insole out of these Vans. Well, this one's proving to be relatively easy, which is good. Not too bad. A little bit of residue in there that I'll have to scrape up. That'll be alright. That's about the size of plate I went for. Some people go for a bit longer. The longer the plate you get, the more stability you got, because the trucks will obviously be further apart. Speaking of trucks, I need to make sure that these are going to fit in here. And with these rubber cushions that fits in, no worries. Perfect. Cut it close enough to the line, you can just give it a tidy up with a file. Done. Perfect. Okay, this is just a little thing I made up just to help hold all things as I work on them. So the plate's in there. Now you want to figure out where you want to place this this plate. I like to have the back wheel pretty close to in line with that bony part on the inside of your foot. So that'll be pretty close. And a lot of people like to go in line with the front of the shoe. I like to have equal spacing between these two parts of your feet. That means the center of that plate is going to be in line with there, which makes balancing a lot easier rather than being off to one side and you constantly have to hold this side up actively while you're trying to skate in a straight line. So rather than being kind of the center of the shoe there, I prefer to toe it out a little bit. It looks a bit funny because the toe stops off center. When you're standing on it, you get to be relatively relaxed and your feet aren't fighting to stay level or skate in a straight line. So about there is where I'll get it. I'll refine it and I'll drill the holes. Now I've got the Pro sliders because they're a bit stronger. You can only use the Pro sliders with these wider Chicks and Bowls trucks because the plastic's thicker here, and if you have the normal width trucks, it'll come and bind up on here when the wheel flexes, when the truck flexes rather. Okay, so this roundness in here is pushing my slider off. I can't get it in there perfectly, so I'm just going to take a chamfer off that corner there, probably with a hand plane. Okay, so to mount your sliders, just get them centered, eyeball centered between the two trucks, and then just turn it over. Grab your Sharpie, put them at permanent marker in Australia. Okay, so all your mounting hardware comes with your Chicks and Bowls sliders. Just going to check the bolt for what size drill bit I need. So 5mm, 4.8, 5mm will give us heaps. Now I'm using a brad point bit. It's for wood. It's a bit easier to locate exactly where, because all you need to do is get your point on that point, drill it through, as opposed to these normal drill bits. I find these a bit easier. Close. So just drill your countersink, make sure the screw is pretty close to flush, be careful not to go through. The point on the toe just helps locate the insole inside the shoe when you're drilling those holes. That's why you leave it on there initially. So just slip your insole inside your shoe and start putting your bolts through. Now, there's longer bolts and shorter bolts. The 4 shorter bolts go through the front, the longer bolts go through the heel, because the heel is usually a little bit thicker than the front. The very front ones are the hardest to get in, so that's why I'm doing them first. Work it down evenly. Now sometimes it doesn't protrude that much through, because I push them through really hard, they're sticking through a bit more, but you can always get the bolt on there, or the nut rather on there. Use that to pull it through, what have you. Have a slider. And just put all your nuts on. and just get a Phillips head in the back of it and do it up. Sometimes you need to screw it down so it seats in there properly. Okay, so once you've got it all bolted on, you need to cut these off nice and short. So just don't rub on anything. Just stick something down in there, just so as when you cut it off with the grinder, I mean hacksaw, whatever you like, that you don't cut your plate. Turn your grinder down really low, so you don't want to melt the nylock in there. It'll keep your nuts done up. Do one then the other, come back to it. You just don't want to overheat things. So cut them nice and flush, so it's when you're doing grabs and stuff, you're not going to catch your fingers or anything like that. That's what Nick from Chicks and Balls said to me. So to get how far to cut the kingpin, let's put a straight edge on there. As you can see, the nut just clears. I haven't got one on this end, but I did before. So I just put the nuts on, put a mark above the nut. I'm going to cut that part of the kingpin off, and then I should be sweet to grind copings. Good. So just taper those threads up a bit, just so as the nut will sit on. Steel part will cut it if it needs a little bit more of a tickle up. Now let's chuck the trucks on, we're just about there. So I'll play with those tensions to get them equal. Yeah, clears perfectly. No problem. Let's put some wheels on, give them a test run. Alright, let's try these puppies out.